Hey, should I start the podcast over again? Do you want to do over? I will. We can. No, we can just start again. Yeah. All right. So everybody clap again. Just start clapping. I hope you have neighbors.
They do. They love us.
So, welcome back to labgrown. We had a short intermission there. So where are y'all from? Amy, do you want to start? Tell me where you're from.
Florida.
Nice. My grandparents live in Florida. So what do you love about Florida?
I just want to say shout out Uncle Lou's and Grumpy's, because I learned pretty much everything I know now from going to shows there. I've been going to shows at Uncle Lou's since 2009. Life-changing experience. Thanks for giving a kid who had nothing to look forward to something to look forward to. Shout out, y'all.
And problem areas, where are you from?
I'm also from Florida. Not as fun of an answer because I'm from suburbia, Claremont, which is like an hour outside of Orlando. Really no major success stories living in Claremont because it's suburbia. So shout out to the people who escaped. Easy baked and super strong. Both doing it in the music and the fashion. But I feel like Florida's a bit of a oven for your brain, and if you're mentally ill, you're just putting yourself through it.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
All right. And so this is the first question. Wait, this is the second question.
Yo, we're high.
Sorry.
If we edit out the part where we said we're high earlier, I'd like to clarify that we're high.
I think we actually had to edit that out. We smoked a bunch because, yes. So here actually on the Google Doc, the second question says, if you're looking at it, have you ever been to the Florida Gator Farm? You ever been to the Gator Farm?
Wait, so you're telling me they have gator seeds and they just plant them into the ground and then you water them, you throw in a Publix sandwich, you just put a little Publix sandwich inside, wait the next day, and then it's a baby alligator. Gator farms, come to the Gator Farms. We'll grow you a baby.
Are you talking about
baby gator?
the background thing that happens in the back of Gatorland that they just don't advertise because it's a bit controversial because I growing up I've seen at least 3 gators in my neighborhood and I don't even live in a swamp. I lived in fucking hills. Yeah.
Where'd they grow that?
They just placed them. They just grow them and place them places.
Also, beef grows from the beef trees. They don't talk about the beef tree awareness.
They do not talk about beef tree awareness. Florida is home to America's finest beef trees. Indeed.
Beef and gators.
It's not the Digimon world. It's Florida.
Yeah, wait till you find out where they're growing the cows. Do not research.
Do not look up where cows come from.
Do not research. Yeah. Worst mistake of my life.
All right. So this is now a little off topic, but how would you describe your music problem areas?
I'm gonna be real with you. I do not like this question, and I'm not aiming that at you, but I just say that because I'm at arms with that question all the time. I guess I'd say I'd say like I imagine it's SoundCloud rap through the lens of like experimental bass music and like pulling from like ambient and noise texture, but like I would not be able to put myself in one genre when I'm like uploading to streaming. I feel like I'm lying. Like
Amy, how would you describe your music?
So, like, that this the sentiment that Problem Area says resonates a lot with me. Like, because like I kind of just go with the flow like half the time. The thing is, what I will say is that like my origins are in hip hop. Like I have been producing hip hop music for like since like I'd say, I mean, I've been like doing it like on and off like since like 2009, but I started like taking it like seriously in like 2011. That was like, this is like something that I am passionate about. This is what I want to do. And then I started like recording like more. I would write a lot. So, and I really appreciated like the way like rap was done. I'm a very big fan of like hip hop and rap as an art form, and that's so then I started including those things into. It's like, well, I want to rap too, and so I've just been doing just at the end of the day I still like go with the flow because like what I like about hip hop is you can mix whatever you want for the most part. It's like incredible like they all has that like a particular vibe like in common. That's what I appreciate about it.
So, Amy, you said 2011 you started taking things like more seriously.
I'd say it's, taking it seriously. So, how basically, I started like a rap collective with some of my friends like over the internet around that time, and we just. And I started learning a bit more about like internet music. Keep in mind, this was like around the time we had like like artists like Lil B were like changing the way like internet music was done and things like that. Like that and that's just Lil B's just like one example I can think of like at the moment. Chief Keef. We had like like those names. Yeah, Young Lean, exactly. So like things like that, and so that was like my introduction to the scene, and I like met like a lot of artists. Can't really like mention like any names right now, but I've like mixed like a lot of like underground like records and things like that, and I would also produce for artists that I liked and like make them like art and things, and that was honestly how I learned. How I learned a lot of the time.
Just like by doing.
Yeah, I feel like it was more about like, so I did get paid for like some of them, but a lot of the time it was like just like I was just trying to learn,
All right, and then so Problem Areas. How long have you been making music, just in general, and how long have you been taking it seriously?
So it's a little backwards for me. I've been really into electronic music since like I could really like have the attention span to be, and like I started attending like dubstep shows at 17. I'm 25 now, and like I started mixing at 18, and I'm 25 now, and like I've been DJing for like 7 years. I hopped on Fucking Around production like right before the pandemic, so like 2019, but then like I was fucking around a bit more during the pandemic, obviously, because I could. And then, like, kind of as, like, the pandemic was, like, on the government side of things, on the outs, like, I personally, like to just, like, not to, like, be too subversive, but I'm vaccinated, and I don't like wearing a mask unless I'm in a giant crowd, so, like, there's me abusing to both sides. That's like when I started like taking it very seriously. So like kind of 3 years of making music and only like 1.5 years of me really trying hard.
Okay, so damn. So like, you two are on relatively different ends of like the experience spectrum. Like,
yeah, and I mean I've been DJing for 7 years, but I've been doing it in an actual like setting where people are able to listen to it for like 6. So there's that.
Yeah, so like, but you two are I I don't know. The more I'm thinking about it, you're probably at like a close enough like ratio, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a contrast, and I feel, but in like a way that like it complements each
Yeah.
other. For example, like Ant just mentioned that they DJ, and like the thing is, yeah, for me, like I also DJ. However, like for me, it's more of like a special. It's just kind of like a special experience. Whereas like Problem Areas prefers like that's like a regular thing to do, and I like going into their streams like when we're in like the Bepis Labyrinth server and just like watching them just like mix all these different tracks together like it's nothing. Like that's really cool. Like me, I have to like plan everything out, and it's like, oh, it's this mix for this moment, you know.
We like make up for each. I'm sure it will be like more light will be shown upon it, but like we really make up for each other's differences, especially in like the performative spectrum. Like I'm definitely willing to take risks that I feel like Amy wouldn't want to because she's already been around the block. But then in that same breath, like Amy's also there to be like not even be like don't do this, but be like if we're gonna do this, we got to do it this way.
Yeah, I mean, like, oh wow, it's just funny. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of the thing is that's kind of just like how I talk, like the way like is easy, like I'm autistic, so like I just have a tendency to just speak very matter of factly, and a lot of times I'm not even aware of it. It's like I'm just kind of talking, and then people are just kind of like, whoa, it's like, oh, that's how you think it needs to be done. I'm like, well, for me. You know? And a lot of times I just want to shoot suggestions more than like be like, oh, you got to do it this way. But like, and Ant doesn't take it personally. Like they know it is a little jarring for like people I'm like just meeting though. a lot of the times.
All right. And so, how long have both of you been making music under the names you're making music under as now?
About 3 years, because like DJ moniker was a different name until I rebranded for like music purposes, and I've just also been DJing under that name because I like it. So
I have actually I've been trying out new names for myself since like 2016. And just like and like names like for myself like as a person, like I've like I mean, yeah, I am like a transgender like non-binary woman, but like the name even beyond all that, like my name, I've never really rocked with the name that I was born with, even like before I knew anything about my identity. So I've tried out a lot of names, but I've been Amy for about since like 2020. Yeah, I think that was like the year that was like, and where I got my name from. There's a street that I used to work on called Amelia Street, and that was some of like the hardest life lessons about my life. Where I was walking down that path, and that's like actually it's like a song. I have a song about that in the future on my next mixtape whenever that comes out.
Amy, you just told us a little bit about where Amy Bestevez comes from. Problem.areas specifically, we need to...
Yeah.
That is a very important part of the name, is it not?
thank you, I appreciate that. Lots of people have been corrected before final versions of posters or lineups on the internet have come out. And even maybe real life lineups, but it's neither here nor there. Problem Areas comes from the song off the One No Tricks Point, Never, R+7 record. I don't really think I'm near like how much ambient I love, but like I feel like it's very true to my like message, like my name, like you know, like a lot of the bars, even though some of it's tongue-in-cheek, a lot of it's still like spitting truth. Like I'm not like if I'm like playing a character, like I feel like I try to make it obvious enough, you know what I mean? Like, but Problem Areas is just kind of like a testament to my love of the music that I love, a testament to like what I want to speak about. And the period is there because it's the only thing that's universally accepted on all social media, and I think that it's nicer than a space because it's already hard enough to search.
Who wants to start? by naming 3 artists or albums that influence their project sonically. So like specifically just like what influences the way your music sounds.
All right. I mean, I can think of
Yeah.
like one example like right off the bat and actually have something to back it up with. So Doom has been a huge influence. I know everybody says that, but I have some exact things I can pull from. So like, you know, and that's great. Yeah, Doom was an incredible artist. Rest in peace. Like, yeah. So of course it makes sense that a lot of people would want like we're inspired by him. So like, but like particularly like, and also Madlib as well. Like Madvillain, yeah. Like once again, yeah, phenomenal record. Learned so much from it. Just like both with like you know Doom's like rap style, which like literally, if I remember correctly, there was like a demo tape where like he was like a lot more like sprightlier in his vocals, and then like it got leaked, and then Madlib was, or I think they were both just like, nah, let's do it over again, and then that's the version we have now, where he's like super like low as possible, and it's just like, let's get this over with, you know. Like that's when I found that out, that changed my life for sure. So anyway, they had the song, which I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong,
Chrome Children Volume 1, a Stone's Throw compilation made with Adult Swim.
the track was called Monkey Sweet, I think. And the instrumental for that left such an impact on me that I ended up like trying to channel it for a track on Amy Core on Hell Street called Unresolved Anger, which is based around a beat that producer Firemain from Perkaholics, shout Firemain, shout Perkaholics.
For real.
Yeah, they shout out number 8. Yeah, they got like. Yeah, he sent me the beat. He sent me this beat, and it kind of like reminded me of that song. So I did like what I could to like flip it and like kind of channel that energy in both like the production and the song itself. So yeah, that's one example to think of, like to name like right off the bat. My other 2 answers are a little shorter. So I've noticed that a lot of like when I do like octaved vocals for like in songs, I've been getting some comparisons to like an artist named Nazgov, and I later like went on to listen to their music, and I must say I very much enjoy their music. So yeah, shout out Nazgov. But to be honest though, where I got the inspiration to do that from was from an artist named Grace, also known as L2 Grace. Great artist. I think they were in the same clique as Nazgov. Don't know. I have no idea what happened to them, but I kind of like I made Crystals as like kind of like a direct influence from like songs they had. So like shout out to that artist. Hope you're well wherever you are. And I think the other third one, Guided by Voices, is my favorite rock band, and I love their stuff. So there's 3 right there. Yeah.
What's behind the sound for Problem Areas?
There's too many things to name all of them, but if I could name 3 big things, I would definitely say, like, I'll start with one that no one's gonna guess, and that's Pilot Red Sun. If you've ever seen his YouTube videos, like, you know how good his music is too.
Yeah.
But like that's some really like backrooms YouTube shit, and if you're not familiar, like, please educate yourself on Pilot Red Sun. It's great, and like his fucking unreleased music is on playlists on YouTube, and I put that shit on at work, and it's fucking awesome. Like, really, really weird shit, but it like sounds super familiar at the same time. And I love that. I would also say, like, as far as like texture and lyrics, like I'm nowhere near, but like I am super inspired by Death Grips. Not to be the white assigned male at birth Death Grips fan in the chat, but I really fuck with the vision and like how loosely they can tell an intense message if you're not paying attention, but it's really just like super like in depth, and like I love how jarring and like every end of the spectrum like the sound design comes from. And if I could name a third one, I guess like also to be the white assigned male at birth fan of this artist. Lil B, I mean, obviously he's fallen off a bit, but like, I still think his impact is undeniable.
That's understandable. You can definitely like, yeah, you can definitely like admire what happened because of Lil B without having to. I'm a hater, but you don't have to give so much credit. Like, but like, can't deny like Lil B had an impact. Like there's an impact there.
It is what it is.
Yeah,
What it
that,
is.
I mean, alright, and like without explaining reasons, I feel like super guilty if I don't mention a couple of these names. Like, I have to shout out Sophie, rest in peace, thank you so much for all of your inspiration. Yeah. Like, I have to shout out like Tipper, I'm going to see him next week. Completely left field from the sound that I'm making, but like, it's fucking incredible music. Shout out to all the ambient music artists I love, like Tim Hecker, obviously One O Tricks Point Never. Shout out to Drain Gang. Shout out to Jerry Paper and Gorilla Toss. Shout out to fucking Weird Music. Like,
hell yeah. So you actually probably just covered like more of the third question, but we're gonna. Do you guys have any lyrical influences? Problem areas, you said Death Grips.
Oh, I'm sorry if I jumbled that up.
Oh no, it's perfect because what you do is you make it more organic. You're just high and worried about it. Don't sweat. We're just stoned. We're just talking about music.
Well, like, yeah, Death Grips is a huge lyrical influence. Specifically, Young Lean is a huge lyrical influence. Like, Blade is like more of a sonic influence than necessarily specifically lyrically. Like the vocal effect chains that I love fucking with, like I would have never even thought to do what I do with my vocals if I hadn't listened to Glue like 6 years ago, 7 years ago. Like
lyrical influences. That's honestly like a really tough one. Really into like the laws of nature and like Gnosticism. Yeah, I'm a strong believer that like the way you think like directly influences like the world around you. And it's like a muscle, you know, like the stronger you get, like the stronger your influence becomes, and it's a learning experience. But I mean that's like I can't really like name any like names comfortably.
Yeah, no.
That's why I couldn't come up with a proper third. That's why I was like, I think the way my voice sounds, because like sincerely, like as many artists as I listen to, like I'm just trying to deliver my message.
I don't want to get preachy with like sigils or magic or anything like that. I want to talk about like the things that I learned from like learning about things like that. How can I translate that into like something that will like directly benefit someone like right now and be like, hey, if this person can live their life this way, so can I, you know? I'm very pro like harm reduction and pro like knowing what you are taking before you put it into your body. So like struggling to center my words around a point at times. So like music is kind of like therapy for me to like explore that in like a healthy way.
I'm very like I just want the message out there. I don't expect people to understand it, but like I'm fine with people interpreting it how they want to, because when I talk outside of my music, I'm always straight to the point. So I'm super comfortable with there being multiple ideas to the words that I put out.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like writing what comes to mind and assigning meaning to what came to mind.
Exactly, or just improvising. Yeah. Like it really just depends. Like
shout out to Mafuba of Gossip Boys
for giving me some great advice and being like, this changed my life, honestly. We were working on a song and they were just like, what does the song want? You know, it was like, and that was actually how I ended up not being hopping on the song. I actually took myself off the song. So I was like, yo, I asked the song what the song wanted, and they didn't want me. Like, this is maybe for a remix, but I'm not on that one. And you know what? That song might go. If that song goes on to be like a hit, which I strongly think it will, like, I'm just like, I'll know I made the right decision.
The humility
be on the remix.
in that decision, like humility or humility, the humbleness,
Both.
whatever. Like,
I think I just prefer like realism.
Yeah.
You know, like, am I just hopping on it to hop on it because I think it's going to be a big song? Which I could do that if I wanted to, but like,
No, I want to make music with my homies and the people that inspire me.
all right, so let's talk about your studios. What's the lab look like?
So,
What's your lab?
Problem Areas, corner of Beppa's Labyrinth. Just a little backstory for you. All of our houses are entrances to the underground. But my corner, my studio is basically a spare room that's the art room in my living space with my partner. She has a gigantic artist desk for like physical art and clothing purposes, and my area is a bit more condensed and has a laptop that my friends and fans crowdfunded. Shout out to like people for believing in the vision. I check streaming all the time and I get awful streams, but I know that people believe in the vision and I know that people support me, and I think that anybody who feels like they go on Spotify and like have nothing to like look for, like, don't fucking worry about it, trust the process. Like, I got my laptop crowdfunded. Shout out to that amazing show that we threw for that too. I got my RGB mouse, my RGB keyboard, my RGB Nintendo Switch controller because I'm a gamer. I got the Switch dock, I got the dab rig. I got a cat on my desk if I'm not careful.
The essentials.
Yeah.
all right, so now you're probably wondering like what like my studio setup looks like.
Oh wait, hold on. I forgot to mention that like the actual space that I record in is my fucking closet. I move my microphone to my closet and I dampen it by putting a bunch of hats and pashminas around it. And
Somebody watching the video. Did you get that from a WikiHow?
No, I got that from I got the first part from.
I'm gonna say it.
I cut that name out, but shout out to Morp Gorp who taught me to record in a closet and taught me to fucking use blankets and shit.
That's a classic one. I feel like I've always thought about doing it, and I always am too lazy to set my closet up like that. 'Cause it's like, oh god, I gotta take it down and use my closet.
I mean, that I'll go more into like how I approach my closet later. Whenever I record my music, I am in the closet. Whenever I'm in the Problem areas. The character is probably straight. We haven't confirmed it. Actually, they said that they're gay, but we haven't confirmed it.
Hold on. Why didn't you tell me you were in the closet? You could have just told me. Like, I'm serious. I didn't know they were recording in the closet. Like,
some people on Discord know. I've been in voice chat and been like, okay, I'm going into the closet. Like, people have been around when I've been like, okay, I'm going to the closet, and I take everything in my hands. And I go to the
Your little crevice.
oh, all right. So some people know. All right. Okay. All right. I see what's going on.
But what's your setup like?
Alright, so get this. Y'all ever like be on like YouTube and like you check those like images that you may have seen before, like on like strangely familiar places or whatever, and they just play that like really like that like just like that really like somber sounding like synths or whatever. You just see all these like borderline back rooms images, and then some of them are just straight up back rooms. Well, and then they have that one spot where it's like an upstairs area, like with this like really like grossly ass looking carpet, and you just see there's like no windows, no doors like anywhere, and there's kind of like it's like this like weak ass mattress like on the corner, and it's like, oh my god, there must be like no room to breathe in there. Like, who could like actually like sleep up there? Well, that's what my studio looks like. I add like a table with a bunch of stuff on it. Some of it I should probably throw away. Some of it's like candy, and then there's a Yeti mic like on like a stand.
Yeah, they didn't have to know, but I got the soy sauce packets on hand.
Ooh.
Yeah. I also have, I guess, yeah. I have a middle finger pipe cleaner. It's like and the middle finger is like chipped off because of God knows what.
All right.
I'll leave it at that.
So what? Do you both just have a Focusrite Scarlett?
Dog, are you really putting me on blast right now? Because it's worse than that.
Oh.
I will admit to it, I'm probably going to start deleting my phones right now so people actually have to work for this information. But, like, I recorded the loop so long. It's a USB so and I'm going to start tuning my vocal shape now, but yeah.
No, my gain's been like all sorts of messed up this entire interview, but I've spent many years engineering, so I think we'll be okay.
What are you recording with?
Yeah, what do you record with?
Yeah, the Yeti. Yeah, like I'm literally like one step up from
on the Yeti.
Honestly, with my
I mean, your vocal compression is fucking otherworldly. You can still hear I mean, like, I don't mind because I have like a lot of texture, but you can still hear the background in some of my fucking vocal recording.
Thanks. I just like. I'm just very meticulous. I remember reading somewhere that Little Ugly Mane would like mix stuff like 40 times, and I took that to heart. Literally, like I have this one song that I've been like working on with with an artist out of Canada. You'll know when it's time to know. But basically, like I literally mixed this track over 55 times. And yeah, I'm working with like a lot of Canada artists lately. Shout out Canada hip hop, underground Canada hip hop and stuff.
Oh, you said underground. Yeah. It's not sewer person. Or I guess it is.
I don't know.
I mean, at least a bunker.
All right. So you're both. Wow, that's amazing. So. Whoa.
Yeah, exposed as hell.
Well, that just means you're just proving that literally anyone can make music that sounds good if they just learn to do the things to make it sound good.
I mean, I'm also like, don't worry, like an XLR and an interface is on my to-do list, but like, I'm fucking like, I'm super comfortably wage cucking. I love my job, but I'm undeniably wage cucking.
All I gotta say about that is I cook good at pizza. That's all I gotta say about that.
So sampling. Yeah. Let's talk about it. Who here likes to sample?
Oh, no.
You're still putting us on blast.
Who loves to sample here? I do. How about you, Problem Areas? Do you like to sample?
So. I'm a very big fan of sampling. Lots of my tracks are sample based and not necessarily in like a sample pack kind of way, even though like shout out to some of the very insane sample packs that I've like been gifted from friends. Like I don't be going on Splice, I just be getting like interesting sample packs from homies, and like I just like sampling a lot. There's a song on one of my Bandcamp Friday compilations, even though there's only one right now. Oops, for spilling some beans. The track is called Adjacent, and that's like a Plunderphonics track. It's like sampling Fortet, it's like sampling Lisa, it's like sampling a lot of things. It's completely sample based. My latest EP, I sampled an ambient track that I can't really disclose because I don't want to get fucked. But I used it in the back of 100 emoji. I'm not going to stop ripping samples and using them illegally until someone gives me the money to make it happen. Like, I will support people with samples when I can afford to. But not Sting. I'll just like dispute that. I'll just be like, bro, there's only so many scales.
There really is only so many scales.
I have a lot of thoughts about that, but I just want to say that I am 100% pro sampling. Like, sampling is an important part of hip hop culture. Sampling other people's music is an important part of hip hop culture.
True.
People forgot. I swear. People have it's as if people have forgotten all about the days when people would take studio instrumentals that were on the internet and rap and do their own take on it. I used to love listening to mix like the Lil Wayne like drought mixtapes, and like No Ceilings and like.
Yo, even beyond rap music, music is meant to be fucking redone because, like, I'm involved in the club scene, you know what I mean? Like, there's, like, music is meant to grow, period.
I'm personally just like hung up on the rap thing because like I grew up with like mixtapes and like listening to people do then like, oh man, I really like this rapper, I want to hear their version of this. We don't get that anymore really because of like all this copyright BS.
Copyright cops.
Famous artists like who used to rap on stuff that like on stuff from like other people's instrumentals that they didn't have the rights to, suing people now for doing the same thing. It's like that's craziness. And yeah, but I mean, that being said, my approach on sampling is if I am going to sample someone else's music without their permission, it's just for me at this point, and I'm not sharing. I'm probably not gonna share it. I mean, unless it's like belongs to like if it's like for a video game or something, maybe. But I don't feel comfortable.
Before we drop this topic, and especially on that note, fuck Nintendo.
I mean, I don't know if that's going to stay in there, but that's how I feel too.
You're not wrong. I'm staring my Switch down, full of games. I have more games.
Same here.
Nintendo has so much of my money.
Yeah, a corporation's a corporation.
Yo, honestly, like it's just like how Disney fans know that Disney's evil. You know what I mean? Like I like Nintendo games, but like fuck them for like killing the people who like to make art around the things that they like.
Absolutely. Nintendo's probably the biggest like fan-based fan killer, yeah. Fan-based fan killer, yeah. Absolutely. So sampling, we talked about that. So do y'all write lyrics before or after you have the beat? Do you write your lyrics for the song, for the beat specifically, or do you write them like beforehand?
In my experience, if I end up like cold writing to something, it's usually going to come out completely different by the time I actually get on it. That's just something I've noticed. I'm honestly more likely to just like improvise.
Alrighty.
As far as I go, I agree with like if I write something with no reference, like I may save some of the bars that I really find unique, but then I may scrap half of them and like hit it with a different approach. Like, in my opinion, lyrics come when they come. I like to dive into a beat with intent for sure. Like having a beat as a baseline is super helpful, but sometimes it takes, if I'm being completely honest, like getting high enough to see things differently. I'm not necessarily being pro drug use here, but like if I'm being honest, like C4 and drinking from the fountain came from like mild ketamine doses, like, and and like everything else has come from a shit ton of weed.
I frequently re-record verses that I feel like I could do better on. Like even like I know I mentioned a song, or I mentioned two songs I mentioned earlier. Fun fact, yeah, like Unresolved Anger. I definitely I recorded that one multiple times and wrote multiple things for it until I got to like where I liked, where the original the original vocals for it, which I'll probably release someday because they're entertaining, was just me vocalizing. And the song Crystals, I actually ended up doing new vocals for them and then scrapping that because I liked the old ones better, which is like almost never happens to me as far like something I release. That was like a rare moment.
And I also want to clarify that I've been writing poetry for like years before I even like thought about being a rapper. So like it's not like it's an exclusively drug-fueled experience. It's just it helps me get where I want to go most of the time, because it turns writing something structured into writing something whatever, like however it actually should be. In my opinion. And also on the note of like drug use being involved with my writing, please test your shit. Where I live, 50% of overdose deaths are actually fentanyl deaths. Test your shit.
Someone's word isn't really enough. Like these days, like people just be like, "Oh yeah, I swear my shit's clean," and they didn't test it. And what if like it's just a bad batch and no one like sincerely tried to hurt anybody or whatever? Like yeah, then what good's your word then?
Like Carrie Narcan fan.
Yeah, like honestly, if you could like just look up, like I highly encourage people who can to look up their like local harm reduction centers. Like most places will give you Narcan for free, usually for free. Should we clap?
Yeah, let's clap again.
Just once.
All right. So, Amy, you had something to add?
Yeah, like I feel like some people might hear us talk about this and be like, "Well, that doesn't affect me." Like I test I test my drugs, or I don't take opioids. Why? Like I don't know anybody who takes opioids. Why does this affect me? Well, honestly,
no, it's everything. It's uppers, it's downers.
You can say
it's
that
DMT.
Exactly. For one, it's in everything. Yeah, one, it's in everything. It can be in anything. And then two, what about places that you're at? Like what if someone's overdosing and no one has it on them? Wouldn't it be better to be that person if you could? That's how I feel. That's why I have it on me. I do personally take kratom for pain, like, but that's about it. Like
I'm also not doing drugs very often. I just do them with intent.
yeah, and I think
I smoke weed all the time, but that's not a fucking drug. Fight me.
Like weed's a vegetable.
Yeah. Weed is a spice.
It's the spice of life.
It's the zest of life. Yeah.
All right. So shit. So when is a song ready to go out?
I'm gonna take a dab.
You take a dab. Amy, you tell me when a song is ready to go out. Yeah, everybody take a smoke break.
When a song is ready to go out, ooh, yeah, okay. Probably he's like, yeah, Amy, when's the song coming out? Alright, well, the song is ready to go out when you can't add anything, you can't take anything out. Any changes you want to make into it might as well be a new song, like a new song or like an alternate version or whatever. I feel like that's when I know for sure. Like I'm trying to remember, there was this song, I can't remember who it was by, but like the guy was like, you're waiting for the perfect time. Now's as good as any. Something like that. I'm just like, yeah, like like simple as that.
I'm cleaning my rig because I'm that motherfucker.
Actually, okay. Well, while you're doing that, I would actually like to add, like, I know I say, like I said, I am saying this very matter of factly, but I am also like I said, I am very meticulous when it comes to like mixing things. Like, no, I got to get set to sound like that, or oh, I'm hearing these weird little bits and pieces that make me uncomfortable, and I'm probably the only person who's going to notice that, but it's not coming out yet because I'm going to fix it anyway. God damn it.
Yeah, absolutely. Amy, also, when you write a solo song specifically, what's the goal?
I think the goal is to either get some insight about myself, create something that I can enjoy afterwards, or both. I think that's generally like the best. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But when you do a collaborative song, what's your approach there? I guess depends. So what's your approach when you're doing a collaborative song with someone, say, in your collective, and someone out of?
So generally, like within Bepis, we mostly just exchange files a lot of the time. But there are occasions where like we'll meet in a voice chat and like listen to each other's streams and things like that. Like, I know we've been all like pretty busy lately, so it's mostly been file exchange. But that works pretty well for me because like I know what they want already and things like that, and they know what I'm interested in. But yeah, like when it comes to collaborating with like people outside of that, that's when it starts to get like a little weird. Like I accept a lot of files and I send out a lot of files, but it's a little more like, I don't really have all the same certainty that I get when I work with people in Bepis.
Problem areas. How's that, Dad?
Yeah. Honestly, like, we don't even have to pause the podcast or anything. I'm just gonna let people hear how it is.
All right, you tell me about that break.
No, you can ask me the question. I'm just gonna answer it as
So, we'll start backwards. When you write a solo song, what's the goal?
When I write a solo song, my goal is just to be as honest with myself as I feel that I should be. Like, I'm always trying, like, I have borderline personality disorder, so like 5 years ago, I didn't know what being honest to myself was. Right now, I'm wholeheartedly still learning, like, so when I'm making music, like, I don't even necessarily want to like it when I'm, like, that's not my goal. Like, I'm not happy with a lot of my music, but I can touch more on that later. My goal is just for it to be honest to me.
That's like a very honest. Oh my God! Hold on. Don't stop the podcast, but
green device. It's the green device duo followed by the tube.
Wild.
Incredible.
We have
the tube.
Similar colored dabrics. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yo, the things that we pull, speaking of sampling, if people, I know it's common information amongst our friends who actually hang out with us, but Pain Portal on Bepis Unleashed, everything, all of the, like, drums are, like, synthesized, like, drums, but, like, all of the fucking synths and bass, that's all your own girl's voice just processed.
Yo, shout out your own girl for real, like, life-changing human being. Like, she's both very when you get to know her, she'll change your life. But like, I was like, it's so bizarre. Yeah, she's like really easy to get in touch with, but also really like, but you have to be tapped in though. It's like if you're not tapped in, you can't touch her. Like that's just how it works, And I learned a lot from
a blessing in disguise is an enigma.
Absolutely.
And when you write a song as a collaboration with people in Bepis, am I saying that right? I'm high. I'm afraid of saying it wrong.
Yeah, I mean it's everything you want. Like, dude, wait, however your text to speech bot wants to say it is fine. Like,
So my brain
cool.
until
Gene says Beppis.
Yes, I do.
until today, I thought it was Beepus. I was like, that's fucking rad. It's Beppis.
Actually,
According to Gene from Jackbox, you're wrong, I think. But it's only Gene.
And according to super fans, it's Penis Labyrinth.
Pipis.
Yo, okay, why does everyone keep calling it Penis Labyrinth? Stop calling it Penis Labyrinth. You too, problem areas.
When you write a song collaboratively, what's the goal?
You said with Becca's members specifically first, correct?
Yeah.
So my goal with that would be like, first and foremost, to have fun. I'm not really worried about like expectations, because we're all on the same wavelength, even though we're all kind of doing our own thing. Like, we really are all on the same wavelength, and like, oh fuck, I just couldn't ask for a better team. Like, really, like, I don't feel like if it doesn't happen, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. If it happens, it's gonna be fucking sick. Like
yeah, like nobody,
so, like,
nobody forces anybody to do anything. If we have something we don't agree on, it's voiced and we talk about it and actually come to like an agreement.
Yeah, I mean, very much Amy, like I said earlier, Amy and I are somewhat like the ring masters for sure, but like everyone has a voice, and if like more than one person who's not us feels some type of way, like, we listen and we're like, okay, like, that's a bit like
Yeah, and like I honestly like strongly believe all conflicts can be resolved. I just like people. I wish people would take like a little more time. Just take like a deep breath, get some water. You know, like think about what's going on. Myself included. You know, it's easy to get like swept up in the storm and whatever. But you know, it's like the storm isn't gonna last forever. You know, and there's always gonna be an eye. And then like when the eye of the storm comes in, that's when you really gotta like get into gear and collect yourself, because it's coming right back. You know, like gotta be careful.
Problem area is, when's a song ready to go out?
well, we're on the same wavelength. I was literally just trying to like, I'm high, so I'm like over here like, whoa, you're podcasting. When's the song ready to come out? Probably like, one of my biggest inspirations, Tipper, has put at least 100 hours into every song before it comes out. I, on the other hand, give myself about a year and a half, or until I feel like I can't do anything to it.
On that note, I would like to mention that sometime like I have I believe this year even, or maybe it was last year. It was either this year or last. I think it was last year. I put out a song that I started working on like back in like 2013.
Shit.
It samples Caramel Dancing.
Ooh.
If you wanna sample snitch on me and destroy that bit of culture in my life, feel free to. This will go on record to show that you are a not great person.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Beppis ops.
But yeah, and I have a lot of stuff I made from like that time that I kind of just never did anything with that I'd love to do something with now. So you might hear that sometime within like the next year or so.
You know, on that note, like, I'm not afraid to just like hold on to a WIP for WIP. I'm not afraid to hold on to a WIP forever. Like, I'll come back to it in a couple of years, and if I can do something with it, that's cool. But like, I don't consider it the same thing.
It's a gift for the future. You don't open it till it's ready, or you can. I mean, you can take a peek inside and like tinker with it, and then. Yeah. Leave it be
it's
again.
A fruit on the tree.
That's what I do.
You can go and you can squeeze it. You can check and see how ripe it is, but I don't know. It's not ready to bite into yet.
May I go into a tiny anecdote that kind of goes hand in hand with this?
Absolutely.
Okay, so the other day I was doing some acid, and it was some acid that I was like waiting like for a long time to like actually do, and I thought I was gonna hold on to it for a little bit longer. But I did it, and I opened a fortune cookie that I was sitting on for like half a year, which my girlfriend thinks was really questionable behavior, but that's neither here nor there. But the fortune cookie said, professionalism is knowing how to do it, when to do it, and doing it. And I feel like that's very much Amy's approach, and that's the approach I'm trying to learn as well. Like,
Now, if I am a person who cannot consume gluten. Well, not that I can't, it's that I shouldn't. Because it can go in my mouth. I can chew it, can swallow it. But I shouldn't. Shouldn't eat gluten.
amen. Same here. Amen.
Fortune cookie is
I mean, nobody should,
Like I
but
should.
like I especially should not. My stomach
Fortune
says
cookie
no.
is a scrying device full of knowledge. You have to crack that baddie open.
Yeah, honestly, like, you have to eat a tiny bit of it, in my opinion. Like, I feel like that's part of the exchange.
It's not your fortune if you didn't eat some of it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's part of the exchange. So I eat like half of it because, like, I love myself, but also, like, I gotta do what I gotta do to, like, honor what I think is, like, the way you're supposed to do it. But yeah, very much, like, not only is that just a crazy fucking little synchronistic experience that happens on acid, but, like, that's the vision.
Hell yeah.
My next mixtape is very inspired by like some of the ways psychedelics have made my life a lot more difficult.
It's a double-edged sword.
Like we here do appreciate the benefits of psychedelics. However, yeah, it is very much a double-edged sword, and a lot of time you can do all the research in the world, but at the end of the day, if you've never taken it before, you don't know how it's going to hit you. So and you have to go into it.
And even if you do know how you've done it, you don't know how it's going to hit you.
And just the way your physiology is going to work, especially if you have other drugs in your system that's going to interact with, and you just like. Yeah, like I've seen some pretty fucked up things happen to people because like someone, for example,
Some fucked up shit has happened to me, and like that's like part of the experience for me. But like that's for me. That's not necessarily for whoever's listening or whoever is around me. Period.
Very bad experiences on mushrooms that affected my personal life in like ways that like I don't feel comfortable saying in public. I've had I'm pretty sure I think I fucked up my birthday party on research chemicals one time. Just things like that. It's like some people just should not be taking this stuff. Basically, is the point I'm getting at here. So it's just So I just stick to nature, whatever nature has to offer me. Pretty much, like I don't want anything else.
Yeah, it's not for everybody. And it's the same thing with weed's not for everybody. There's people who shouldn't be smoking weed.
Definitely learn things from LSD, but there's also just so much like fake stuff going around too. So it's just just be careful, please. It can't be said enough.
If you want my candid opinion on acid, I totally think that people who are like dipping their toes in the water are fine doing tabs on the market. The market's mostly fluff right now, if you ask me. I live in Denver. Just get your fucking if you're serious about your shit, A, get your shit tested, and B, try to get gel tabs or try to get a vial. Like that's really where you're gonna get results that aren't gonna be a waste of your time. I've done acid enough times for me to say that like fluff is not necessary for me anymore. If I'm going to do acid, like what is the fucking point?
Yeah, also if you're like a teenager or whatever, your brain's not fully developed yet. Don't get into that shit.
Your brain don't fucking stop until at 25, and I shouldn't have done it at 18.
I get it. I started smoking weed when I was like 18 and stuff, and I'm really glad it didn't become a habit until I got older because that'll screw your brain. That'll screw your brain up. It's just like
we don't really want fans that are minors, but if you're a minor and you're listening to this, please understand that you really shouldn't do drugs until your brain is fully developed.
There are some things right now, not so much, but there are some things in like future Bepis Labyrinth specific releases that are like more geared towards like mature audiences only and will be labeled as such. So we don't. So that's why we're not too like enthusiastic to have like all ages listening to our stuff. But for example, like my solo things that are like released outside of Bepis are like meant for like anyone to listen to. So it's just like whatever. So that just goes to show you should just be really careful with like the content that you consume, no matter what age you're at. Because especially if your brain isn't done developing yet, which there isn't really a cutoff age for that, you just kind of have to know. You kind of just have to listen to your body, really. You'll, it's like you can't really, like, I just feel like you really need to be careful with like what you consume, because that's going to like determine like how the rest of your life goes. Really, like just consume, both as in like what you read and listen to, and just like, yeah, like it all affects you in the end.
What you put in your brain and what you put in your body,
like
Stop eating McDonald's.
Drug abuse made the anxiety that I go through on like a daily basis like significantly worse than I have and while I haven't really been to like a doctor I feel comfortable with lately, I do feel like it's definitely taken a physical toll on me for sure too, in ways that I don't think I fully grasped yet. Just kind of scary, but I'm doing my best to stay positive about my situation. So at the end of the day, listen to yourself. Like, please listen to yourself. Don't go against your nature. Unless you're getting the urge to like hurt somebody, then like you should please like talk to somebody about that, for the love of God. For the love of God. If you want to hurt somebody, like ask yourself why, and if you can't come up with a good answer, like ask someone you trust, like for real. That's just scary.
Also, if your nature is to let people walk all over you, please work on that. That's like the one time I would say, please work on your nature.
Please, because that's how it leads to like I feel like a lot of violence stems from like not addressing like when you just don't take matter. If you don't take, like, I was someone who like didn't take matters into their own hands for like a really long time, and I'm glad I did, because I probably wouldn't be here if
same here.
If I it is what it is. Shout out to us for like actually like taking control. Everyone should do the same, especially if you like feel lost in life. Then it's up to you at that point. A job isn't going to save you. A politician isn't going to save you. Your favorite artist isn't going to save you. It's up to you.
We're getting it to the end of the questions here, but I want to talk about Bepis Labyrinth. Tell me everything. Let me know it all.
Well, there's a lot.
Whatever you want on the record, I want to hear it.
Amy, do you want to go way back? You can get started if you want to go way back.
Shout out to like everybody in 2020 who is like just in the server back when it was just called Bepis, because I couldn't think of a name, and I thought that's the funny internet. That's the funny internet word. It's been the funny internet word for like almost the majority of my experience being like a part of like internet music, for like, which is a long time. It's like nearly a decade. It's like over a decade at this point. So that's like a lot. And so I figured naming it Bepis as like the funny word would be funny. But then we were like, we should like actually, it's like we were actually getting some like musicians that we really like in here, and they like making music of us maybe, and they're like our close friends. Maybe we should like make this a collective. And I was a little nervous because I was already not a part of the rap collective or the hip hop collective, whatever it was that I like initially formed years ago due to like I left due to creative differences among other things. And so I was a little nervous, but I was like, you know what, like I don't see why not. It's like everyone's quarantined now. I was already living like I was quarantined by the time quarantine happened, but personally it's I'm admittedly a hermit. I've been so like pretty much my entire life. I pretty much only leave the house to do things I need to do, which includes live shows, and that's just how I've been like my entire life. And that's how I don't know. I am working on being like a little more social, like when I feel like I need to, but other than that, like I don't really like, it's kind of like my natural habitat. So seeing everyone else like that, I was like, okay, you know what? I want to like actually like make music with y'all for real. So we're like, let's make it Bepis Labyrinth. That sounds cool. Or that it also doubles as like Bepis Lab because it's like a laboratory. And then the server actually pretty much started to like slowly but surely look like an actual labyrinth with just like all the freaking categories we've made, many of which aren't even visible to like the average user of the server.
If people think that, lots of people will fucking complain that it's cluttered, but they don't even know that there's like 4 subsections and like fucking somewhere between like 20 and 30 more channels. Like,
or better, worse or better. I know for me it's like better because I honestly have like when I'm down, I like to just go there and look at like all the stuff people have posted, whether it's like what they're like, what kind of like cool food they had, what funny pictures they have, or just see if I can help them out with their day, or just what music they think is cool, what music they have coming out. Like it's all, like I check it all out. So yeah, shout out to everyone who's active in the server.
That's where I'm most comfortable, obviously. Like, I kind of step into a few other servers. Most of the other members of, like, there's, like, 7 members of bestevez. 3 other members, including Amy, are pretty active on Discord. 3 other members are not active on Discord. I am moderately active on Discord, and I just don't like walking out the server that much, if I'm being honest. But, like, that's just because we have designed it to be our safe space. Like,
yeah, I'm there every day. It's like the one place where I know I can just like relax. It's cool because everyone knows what's up. Yeah.
Oh, back to the podcast. What does life look like outside of music for you? What are you doing outside of music?
Working in a vape shop. If I'm not working on music, I also go out to support homies a lot. And since I moved out to Denver, I moved out here for like art and weed, and art is like physical and like sonic. So like I go to shows a couple times a month. That's just like what I would be doing even if I wasn't making music. If I still think I would be a consumer.
Yeah, I feel like if I wasn't making music, I'd probably like still be like scumming to my addictions hardcore instead of either like being completely abstinent on some and staving off others like I am right now. Leaving places where like the abuse started helped like tremendously. That's what I will say about that. And and also like being like myself, and also like being allowing myself to be like who I am also was a really big part in like helping like me like stay sober as well. So as far as like my personal life goes, I pretty much cooking the pizza and all that. Yeah, like I mainly play card games, and I try to game with other people, but it's like really difficult. I'm very thankful if I can play a match of rounds with problem areas. I will say that.
Shout out rounds. I also be playing fucking a lot of roguelikes in my spare time, and I be playing Fortnite.
I do stream part-time, but I haven't found a good formula yet to like work into something that I'd want to do on a regular basis, so it's just part-time for now. Shout out to my wife.
I love
Your
my
girlfriend with all your
with
time.
my spare time.
Your girlfriend brought you dinner.
Yeah, for real.
Filled your water glass. That shit was
That's real.
No, that was.
We didn't have to talk about that, okay?
I was like,
But
you're the luckiest bitch on earth.
I'm not necessarily the best at doing things because I'm stupid, but if I get asked to do something, I'll do it. And I feel like it's the same vice versa, and that's why
I feel the exact same way about mine, honestly. Like, yeah, shout out Argaflex. Yeah.
Shout out Pantacleptic on socials. She did the impending Doom artwork for and like also just makes cool artwork. Doesn't post it a lot, but is a cool person. So there's my shout out.
I have been making music with Argoflex, but it's a very like personal thing for me. So if it does come out, y'all hear it. But if not, I'm sure you'll understand.
Yeah, absolutely. But like the fact that it exists, that's cool. That's like fucking cool.
Yeah, it's beautiful to be able to make music with somebody you love. That's it's a privilege, and I'm honored.
Yeah, that's for you in the first place. Like that whole concept, that's for yourself. If it's not like for yourself, then like what's the real goal here? Why are you doing it?
Podcast.
I podcast well. So it's just like 3 pieces of media you recommend. I'm gonna let you each give 3 instead of having to somehow compromise on 3.
I would recommend first and foremost, I would recommend DJ Recode Pop. Like, for sure, like that's like some of the most inspiring sound design I've heard in recent memory, while just like embracing just like many other like incredible like sound designers in this scene. And it's just like so many, like there's literally like so many names on that record. It's like so good. Like, yeah, shout out DJ Recode. Like, yeah, definitely check that one out.
Back to Beppis for a second. I mean, this is not... I would like to clarify that this is not a Beppis release, but since this is a member of Beppis, it is going back to Beppis. But I think everyone needs to listen to Mash Sound's first album. It's called Off the Grids. It's definitely like gonna be in my top 3 favorite electronic albums at the end of the year, like period. Even though like it's out in the first quarter, I just know for a fact that it is going to hold strong until the end of the year. Like I've been, some of those songs were whips back in like 2017 when I was still living in Florida and he was still living in Florida, and like they have come into full fruition, and it's so beautiful from that perspective. But from the perspective of somebody who just likes really interesting, intricate, experimental music, it is fucking phenomenal. It is in your face. There's like only 2 tracks that really give you a moment to breathe in the entire experience, but like it's fine. It's I don't know. I can't even properly describe it. It's like on SoundCloud and Bandcamp. It is like $3 on Bandcamp. I reviewed it on Bandcamp and said, buy the ticket, take the ride, and that's what I'm saying here too.
Buy the ticket, take the ride. Amy, your second recommendation.
Hold on, Amy, you talk about music too much. It is Gene's turn. I would like to recommend a Crystal Solstice EP by Zombie. Zombie is a member of the Oklahoma-based trio, Rural Internet, and easily one of the most dynamic voices in music today. Every time I think I know what Zombie has in store for us, they surprise their listeners with songs like Trojan Horse and Freeze Ray. Crystal Solstice, check it out. Shout out Zombie, shout out Rural Internet.
Back to me. Yeah, okay, so, there's a lot of shit that I've been really into lately, so I'm gonna just try to go with something that I would register as like timeless to me right now. And like, I just rewatched Tekken King Crete. It's an anime movie. It's like the first major anime film production that is directed by an American director. The art production on it is fucking gnarly. There's a lot of 3D sequences that you're like, oh yeah, this is a 3D sequence, but you're not like pissed that it's a 3D sequence because like I know you know what I'm talking about in these fucking like AAA anime, but they're fucking throwing like 100 soldiers through the CG, like because it's not, dude, like this shit is like CG that complements the visuals. The story is interesting, it's dark, it grabs at you the entire time, it's visually astounding. I highly recommend the movie. Tekken King Crete. TEKKONKINKREET.
Amy, your last pick.
All right, so my last pick. Whew, there's darn, I can't. Okay, scenes from Highways by Isaac. Yeah, shout out to Isaac. That's a close friend of mine. The founder of Doghouse, which I'm affiliated with. Shout out Doghouse. And it's just a beautiful record. It's like, I don't know. It's hard to describe. I mean, like most people would just say like, oh, like it's hyper pop, but like that doesn't really do it justice. Where there's like a lot of like pitch changes in the songs, and it's just Yeah, like there's just like it's like everything everything feels like alive, even though it's like very like heavily electronic.
It's chopped and popped.
And yeah, so yeah, shout out Isaac, and yeah, shout out Doghouse.
This is difficult, and I picked something else, but I'm going to repurpose just because it's very special to me. People should go on SoundCloud or Bandcamp or whatever streaming service they use and check out Tipper Music. He changed my life wholeheartedly. Like, the community that he's built around like art period has like 100% put me on the path that I'm on today. Even though you may not hear it in everything that comes out, it is like, you don't get me, like, what I'm doing with bestevez is like, you know, so many times smaller, but like, I'm trying to develop a community that cares that much too. People look out for each other. I've been to 4 separate Tipper shows, and 2 of them were like gifts that I was gotten. Like, I got a ticket to one show as a gift, and then I got another one like the day before because I met up with somebody in the community and took them out to eat. Like everybody's thick as thieves. The sound design is out of this world. The visual aspect that gets brought into this shit is crazy. If you like visuals like with your music, just go look up like a Tipper mix on YouTube, because there's a few really high quality, really intense like visual experiences. It's all about the art from beginning to end. I'm about to go to his festival next week, and like, I'm about to buy a pendant from a friend that I met in the community years ago, and I'm wearing his ring right now for like way too much money, but that's just because that's what it's fucking about, right? Like, his music is so fucking sick, but like what it's about is so fucking sick. Like that's what it's about to me. Like, so that's why I want to recommend it.
Oh, we made it through the podcast, y'all. We did it. We're on the other side of the podcast.
Yeah.
We can wrap this up. Did I miss any questions? Nope. All right. So, thanks. All right, we can all hit stop. Well, if I hit record, it just starts recording again to the same audio file. We are back into the podcast. Psych. Psych. Everybody clap. All right. So, we had some closing thoughts. Amy?
Yeah, I just wanted to say big shout out to Endor, bestevez Labyrinth, just for always like mixing us like awesome tracks, and always coming up with like great insight on like how we can, like, what we can do as far as like community outreach goes. Like, and they work really hard. I know they work really hard with like Your Own Girl on like things like that too. So I'm pretty excited to see like what we'll be able to do for people. And also I wanted to just give a big shout out to Seraphim Collective, which I'm also affiliated with. Big shout out to Charlie and Jamie for like recognizing my energy on the same level as theirs. And I'm eternally grateful. And also shout out to all my supporters.
I not only did I like want to recommend Off the Grids, but I just want to shout out MASH. We're working on a project that is due this year. There is no date, but it is due this year.
Shout out MASH.
13 tracks. Every track is the same length. We're all going into it with like, just like feel it and trust it and like approach it. And like he gave us like these drafts, and we like have been picking away at them for so long, and I'm not even finishing until I get back from my trip next week. And like, fuck, he just finished his second draft of all the mixes, but we're waiting to get them until we submit our vocals for our own sanity, and then he's gonna come out with a third draft. And like I said, he's just so meticulous. He's holding it down for us. This is going to be the best thing that comes out with my name involved this year. I wholeheartedly believe in it. It may just be the best piece of work that comes out that's a collab between me and anybody else, period. Like, Amy and MASH are like fucking insane. I'm tapped in ways that I didn't realize I could. Like,
for real, like, honestly, I can attest to that. Like, I still like these, like the demos are going nuts.
It's a result of the same vision, and that is not always possible. And like,
shout out MASH.
I just want to shout him out because of that, and Amy in that same breath. And like, I want to shout out everyone in Beppes because everyone is just so sick. Not even the core members, but like the community around us is so beautiful. Shout out to like Jeep. Shout out to like Outskirts alumni. Shout out to Bestie Mafia. Shout out to Gossip Boys. On a real life scale for me, shout out to N2OMAD on Instagram and Lizard Salt on Instagram. They're fashion designers. I'm starting to collect their clothes. They have a studio out here, and like they're going to help me make like a part of my artistic like desires that I never thought I could achieve at this point in my life, something that happens this year. So like maybe that's me alluding to releasing something in like a physical format, but I'm not going to say any more than that. But shout out to them for like seeing me and understanding, because like that's really what I want in art, like regardless of like what it is. Like,
God, I'm gonna be able to order some problem areas swag. Ho, 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 ho.
I mean, it might not be called problem area swag, but like, don't worry, all my socials, I'm going to be talking about it. It's really important to me. You know what? Fuck it. I'm not changing the name. It's gonna be Bug Bite Bootlegs. This is gonna be the first talk of it. I'm not dropping it anywhere in text until there's something to show for it physically. But it's Bug Bite Bootlegs, and they're gonna be bootleggy. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, be on the lookout for Hell Street 2.
Hell Street 2?
Yeah, this summer. Yeah, Hell Street 2 this summer.
Hot, hot, hot.
And Group Mania, maybe by the fall at the very latest, maybe.
And who knows what else Beppes has in store? It's like it's just gonna happen. Like,
yeah.
That's the beauty of it. It's just gonna happen. We need more of that. Just do what you want to do. Like,
yeah, do things. If you feel like you want to do it, do it. If you feel like it's a risk, like, stop thinking emotionally and start thinking realistically for a second. If you can help it, I understand that's not necessarily easy, but try to like take the moment to breathe and like just look at it. Like, that's why Amy said, like, you know, you can always come back to something earlier. Like, that's a super important thing to live by unless something is like hanging over your head by a thread. Always trust yourself, trust the process, make something. It doesn't have to be art, it can be something that just helps you. Like, in the house, like, just build something, like, just do something, get really into something. If you feel like you're not really into something, I don't know how you're listening to this podcast, but, like, fucking get really into something.
For real, yeah, This is your wake-up call.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, thank you so much for inviting us. Like, it's been a blast.
Yeah, this has like been a pleasure. 280 characters is never enough for somebody to fully get a little glimpse in, and like the music is subjective. This is really a privilege. You are on the level musically, you are on the level podcastically. Thank you. And like, look for love. That doesn't mean like look to be fulfilled by somebody else, but just like how you want to be treated, surround yourself by it in every single way that you can. Like, I am nothing without my community. On the internet, in real life, like, I am only who I am today because people have pulled me up out the mud for the last 3 years of my life. Like,
I mean,
just
be yourself. Just be yourself. Don't worry about what anyone else is telling you. Like, if it doesn't match like what you know in your hearts, right? Just go with it. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's how I want it done.